Hi, Vinny. You have set an unattainable standard that can never possibly be equaled. You've elevated our profession just by your mere presence in it, and you've brought joy to millions upon millions of people, including me.
From all of us that try to do this for a living, that pale in comparison to you. We just want to say thank you for all your service, all you've done for the game, and enjoy retirement.
And I just want to tell you that I think you're the greatest. I think that people know you from calling games, but they don't know the person that you are. If I could be half the gentleman that you are, I'd be ahead of the game.
Thank you so much for your years of inspiration. Thank you so much for your years of excellence. We wish you all the best on your retirement.
And you know something? I think we ought to stick around because, as the man said, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Thank you, Vin.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Mr. Scully.
Thank you, Vin.
Well, that was a video that Major League Baseball had every team's broadcasters put together in tribute to the man for every season for 67 years, Vin Scully, who today will broadcast his final game as the Dodger broadcaster as the Dodgers close out their season against the Giants. And you know, what resonates with me about Vin Scully is not just what comes over the airwaves, it's what you learn about the man when you meet him. And what I recall is that as a first-year broadcaster in the major leagues 3 decades ago, when he had already been doing this for 4 decades himself, he was as welcoming as anybody could ever be.
Well, I have fond memories and 2 memories, Gary, and that's my rookie year, first time to Dodger Stadium. A 20-year-old kid out of San Francisco, and I grew up in the Bay Area, knew about Vin Scully, and he was on the field during BP and came up and introduced himself and treated me as if I was a Hall of Famer, just a class act, a class gentleman. And one other thing I have is I hit my first home run in Dodger Stadium, and I'm sure he made that call.
Well, the last day of the season is a day for goodbyes, and there's never been a more important goodbye to a man who represents everything that's good about baseball, Vin Scully. And we wish him all the best as he heads off into the sunset. NY is brought to you by Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. By Citi, proud partner of the New York Mets. And by Budweiser, the official beer sponsor of the New York Mets. This Bud's for you. Final game of the regular season. A game of little import to either squad other than making sure nobody gets hurt for the Mets, whose next important game will come Wednesday night at Citi Field. Some of the Mets regulars requested that they get a couple of at-bats today, and that's why Granderson and Cabrera and Bruce are all on the lineup today. Your Geico Mets starting lineup, a little different look as Reyes and others will sit out. Cespedes, who got ejected from the game during his last at-bat yesterday, and they will sit today, but Terry Collins will have a full cast of substitutes by the middle of the game, you can be certain. Gabriel Noah gets a start on the mound against Jared Eichhoff, who's been the Phillies' best starter this year.
Well, he and Hellickson, 11 wins you see right there. He's had 3 starts against the Mets this year. He's winless, 0-2 on the year, but an ERA of 3.00. So a hard luck pitcher. You see his numbers for a team that didn't fare well. 11-14 record is pretty doggone good. And we'll take a look at the Philly defense for the last game of the season here. The Coors Light last game of the season Philly defense. Paredes, Altair, and Herrera in the outfield. On the infield, Ryan Howard had a big ceremony for him. His final game here in Philadelphia. The great career that he's had. Cameron Rupp behind the plate.
In fact, Howard carried out the lineup card for the home plate meeting today. Met Terry Collins. They shook hands and exchanged felicitations. Don't know whether Ryan Howard's going to have a job next year, but his tenure in Philly ends today, and they had a very nice ceremony honoring Ryan before the game today. Curtis Granderson leads things off. Granderson finishing the season as hot as you can be, and Eichhoff's first pitch is taken outside for ball 1. Granderson has reached base 13 of his last 16 plate appearances to get his average up to 237 for the year. And he smacks one to center field, falling fast, and in comes Herrera to get it for the first out of the day. So Granderson's retired, 1 away. Well, as is the case for the second straight season, every game on the final day of the season is starting at the same time. And while there's nothing at stake here, there is plenty at stake elsewhere, including whether the Mets will find out today whom their opponent will be on Wednesday night. The Giants with a 1-game lead on the Cardinals for the second wild card. If the Giants win or the Cardinals lose today, then the Giants get that spot and face the Mets Wednesday night. But if the Giants lose and the Cardinals win, they'll have a 1-game tiebreaker tomorrow in St. Louis. As Dribble Cabrera lofts one out to center, another chance for Herrera, and quickly there are 2 out. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. And after the Giants got a fantastic performance last night from rookie Ty Blach getting his first big league win, they will go to Matt Moore today. The Cardinals will have Adam Wainwright on the mound in a must-win for them after they came from behind to beat the Pirates yesterday. How about Blach? 8 scoreless innings for his first big league win, out-pitching Clayton Kershaw.
Yes, he did.
In the Giants' 3-0 win yesterday. Here's Jay Bruce, 4 for 7 in this series, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
Saw Jay in the lobby today while checking out of the hotel. He's all smiles. He's a very intense guy. I'm sure he's greatly relieved now that he has found his way out of that forest and has been productive playing, hitting home runs and doing the things that he was doing for the Reds.
He struggled for 7 weeks as a Met, but the last week has been the charm, and now hoping he can carry that into the postseason.
Well, it's a big power hitting left-handed bat the Mets need in that lineup, and you see the numbers right there, what he's done. He's turned it on.
Eichhoff ahead of him 1-2, and the breaking ball got him. Side retired. Eichhoff gets the Mets on 1-2-3. Gabriel Noah hits to the mound when we come back. forward yesterday against Bartolo Colon. Makes his final appearance as a Philly. See if he can do anything for an encore. As the Mets run out Gabriel Ynoa for his third big league start.
And there's Ynoa's numbers. They aren't sterling and sparkling. A lot of base hits he'd given up. A lot of base runners. But you know what? He's pitched in some games and kept the Mets in those games.
Cesar Hernandez trying to bunt his way on. Kevin Plawecki catching and gets on it quickly to throw out Hernandez for the first out. There had been some thought given to having Noah Syndergaard make the start today, maybe pitch an inning to tune him up for Wednesday night. But after consulting Noah and Dan Warthen, they decided to just have him throw a bullpen session today. Probably the wiser move. And get him ready for Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a pretty rigorous one. A little bit longer tune-up.
Here's Jimmy Paredes, the left fielder, 2 for 7 in this series. So far this game has had the general pattern of the meaningless last day game.
What, you mean 1 foot on the bus? The Mets are literally 1 foot on the bus.
I mean, looking to swing the bat as Paredes does, bounces one over the mound. Cabrera hustles in and gets the second out. So 3 pitches, 2 outs for Ynoa, just as Eichhoff got on the top of the first.
Lexus defense for your wild card Metsies, folks. Bruce, Granderson, Conforto getting the start in left field the last game of the season. Kelly Johnson getting at second base. Lucas Duda back in the lineup. Eric Campbell gets a shot at third base. And Plawecki behind the plate. Some of the players getting a rest. A bit surprised that Cabrera wanted to play. I'm sure he'll be out early with that knee. Get a couple at bats and get him in the showers.
Here's Odubel Herrera with 2 out and nobody on. Herrera 1 for 7 in this series. And Ynoa misses inside. Ynoa's last start came against the Phillies. That was on September 23rd. He went just 2 innings in that game and was pulled quickly for a pinch hitter. Mets wound up winning that game. His last outing was in relief Monday in Miami. Another ball hit past the mound. Another chance for Cabrera, and on 5 pitches Ynoa retires the side in the bottom of the first. We go to the second in Philly with no score. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. MLB.TV Premium includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Lucas Duda leads off the second inning. Lucas started the opening game of this series Friday night. Went 0 for 4 and then was feeling sore yesterday, so James Loney played. And for the second time this week, Loney playing for the sore Duda. He hit a home run, and in this case, the home run that put the Mets in front of their clincher. Duda hooks one down the line in the direction of the pole, but he hooked it foul. And it's 0-2.
It has been, like we said in the open, Garrett. I know all you folks were watching that brilliant open of ours. It's been a team effort. It's been uncanny what's happened with this ball club when people come in and they step up and do the job.
Keith, sorry I cut you off.
Sorry.
Usually
it's Greg in the truck, our producer. It's cutting me out.
There are the wild card standings presented by Empire City Casino. Mets are home free in that top spot because they have the tiebreaker with the Giants. And now we'll see what happens with the other two. One of the consequences of whether it's the Giants or the Cardinals in that one-game wild card on Wednesday is that if they face the Giants, they face a left-hander. They face Madison Bumgarner. You see the Giants ahead early. If it's the Cardinals, it would be a right-hander, Carlos Martinez. In each case, the ace of the staff, but
of course,
for the Mets, a little bit of a different feel. And first base is a perfect example of this decision making the Mets are going to make. First of all, is Duda ready to go, or should it be Loney, or do you play a right-hand hitter, maybe an Eric Campbell, if you face Bumgarner?
What about that right-handed bench? What about Conforto, Diaza? With a lot of questions.
And the curveball gets Duda for the first out. Well, I think for the wild card game, the questions are more limited because I think they'll only keep 9, maybe at the most 10 pitchers for the wild card game. If you get to the division series, then they're going to have to carry 12 pitchers, and now the decisions on the bench become even more acute.
Sure.
Of course, you go back to 25-man rosters. But I think that question might be the first one that Sandy Alderson and Terry Collins have to figure out, is if they face Bumgarner, who plays first base? Is Kelly Johnson taking low and in for ball 1?
Sound like Evan Costello there. Who's on first?
Yeah. Kelly 0 for 1 in this series, and he drives one out to center field. Over comes the right fielder Altair, gives way to Herrera, and that's the second out.
He thought there were 3 outs.
Well,
that's all right.
One step on the bus. Well, we do know who's pitching for the Mets on Wednesday, and it's Noah Syndergaard, who has come steaming down the stretch and could not be more ready or amped for that game Wednesday night.
For the young man, Noah, he's already been seasoned with last year's postseason play all the way to the World Series. So you can't call him the inexperienced one out there on the mound. He's been there. Pitched big games.
There's Michael Conforto, and if you get to a division series, this is going to be a really hard call as far as the roster. When you have a 5-man bench, Conforto or De Aza. De Aza, who's been here all year and had a terrific second half, or Conforto, a guy who carried your club in April and is capable, as we've seen from last postseason, of stepping up in a big moment.
And you're looking, Conforto obviously brings more pop, but De Aza is the veteran that's going to a good pinch hitter off the bench, and you're going to need in playoffs. So there's a very difficult choice.
So the thing that got the Mets here, the fact that they used a 39-man roster and they used everybody on that roster to get there, is going to make it that much more complicated once you have to pare down to 25, because you've got a lot more than 25 deserving players to be on that roster.
They're nice problems to have. And there's Terry, who's done a terrific job with this club. Let me tell you, keeping it together when that club was treading water. And you said it, Gary. I tell you, we mentioned it how many times when they were 2 games under 500, losing the first 2 games in San Francisco on that road trip, and how everything turned around.
Well, they're 27-12 since then. They won the last 2 in San Francisco. They won that incredible series in St. Louis. That's when we first met Gazelman and Lugo. And those guys have been as essential as anybody. Conforto strikes out. 6 up and 6 down for Eichhoff with 3 strikeouts. No score in the second in Philly. Ryan Howard due up second as we go to the bottom of the second inning. On his big day in Philadelphia, Maikel Franco leads off against Gabriel Ynoa. We got the side out on 5 pitches in the first inning. Franco 2 for 8 in this series, capping off his first full season in the major leagues. And Ynoa falls behind 2-0. And Franco wraps one through the vacant right side, and he's got the first hit of this game. And now Howard. Well, he's finishing off his 12th full season as a Philly. He's been a Rookie of the Year. He's been an MVP. He was part of the world champion Phillies in 2008. And much love being sent Ryan Howard's way today.
382 lifetime home runs. 25 he hit this year.
48 lifetime home runs against the Mets. One of those he hit yesterday against Cologne. Wow, look at that. As a youngster in the St. Louis area. 5th round draft pick out of Missouri State. Set a Phillies club record with 58 home runs in his MVP season, and only 3 players have ever hit more home runs against the Mets than Ryan Howard.
Twice led the National League in home runs, 3 times led the National League in RBIs.
This is really a day for farewells, isn't it? Ryan Howard here, David Ortiz in Boston, although he'll still have postseason games. Vin Scully, who we mentioned, the Oakland. Turner Field, last game there today. And then throw into the mix all the wild card possibilities, particularly in the American League, and this is quite a final afternoon. Ynoa strikes out Howard with a changeup. So Ynoa has his first strikeout, 1 out in the second, and now Cameron Rupp. Rupp is 2 for 7 in this series. Well, we mentioned how fast the Mets have finished this season, 27-12 over their last 39 games, and I think it's important to note how thoroughly the Mets have put together this stretch. They've allowed the fewest runs in the majors over this 39-game span, and they've scored the second most runs in the majors over the same span. Rupp takes one to right field. Bruce toward the line and gets there for the second out.
Well, that's a pretty good recipe, Gare.
It's going to be only the 10th time in Major League history that a team qualified for the postseason after being under 500 as late in the year as the Mets were. The first ever to do it was the '73 Mets. Remember, they finished only 3 games over 500 and won their division. The last to do it was the 2009 Twins. And of the group, the only one that ever made it to the World Series were those '73 Mets. To be under 500 that late in the year and get to the postseason. Here's Andres Blanco playing shortstop. Freddie Galvis out with a hamstring injury, and Blanco takes outside.
And you saw the Atlanta Braves on that list of great finishes. And the Detroit Tigers, probably when the season started, were probably relishing the idea of finishing up in Atlanta against the rebuilding Braves. But they got a tiger by the tail there.
Yeah. Braves have won 11 of their last 13. There's a ground ball toward the middle, and Johnson can't get to it. Blanco has a base hit. Blanco pulls him at second, and there are 2 men on. Well, of course,
Well, 2 base hits, one to the right of Johnson, and now by Michael Franco, and now one to the I'm sorry, the left of Franco of Johnson, now to his right. So they're well placed.
So 2 out and 2 on for Aaron Altair. Of course, for all the crazy scenarios to result in the American League wild card race, the Tigers have to win that game in Atlanta today. Toronto and Baltimore are tied for the 2 wild card spots. If they both win, it's a moot point anyway. But if one of them loses and the Tigers win, then everything goes into a tumult, because the Tigers have a makeup game scheduled tomorrow against the Indians in Detroit. So if Detroit wins today and Toronto or Baltimore loses, then a Tigers win tomorrow would then trigger a tiebreaker, and it could be a 3-way tiebreaker if Baltimore and Toronto both lose today.
You're right. It's been very interesting.
And there's another piece to that, which is they may have to play that game in Detroit anyway to establish home field for the Cleveland-Boston division series. So that just throws another wrinkle into it. Altair pops up to end the inning. 2 men left. No score after 2. Referencing Toronto needs to win or the Tigers to lose. The Orioles need the same to win or for the Tigers to lose to get in. And if they both win, then Toronto will have the home field advantage in the wild card game Wednesday. But if one of them loses and the Tigers win, then it comes down to that makeup game with the Indians tomorrow. Here's Eric Campbell playing third base today, and takes outside as we start the 3rd inning. Campbell, like so many other of the September call-ups, has had his contributing moments down this stretch run. And that great play defensively he made in Atlanta. He had a big hit in the last homestand at Citi Field.
It's just been a group effort. There's just no question.
Campbell's 20th start for the Mets this year. And he whacks one the other way, foul. 2-1.
Oh, nice backhand by the fan.
Just one more piece about those the potential tiebreakers. The Indians and Red Sox are going to play each other in the division series starting on Thursday if everything is settled by then. Cleveland has a half-game lead over Boston for the home field in that series. So unless both of them win, unless one of them wins and one of them loses today, then that makeup game tomorrow is going to come into play to decide home field. That's it toward the hole. Great play by Franco, laying out, and he throws out Campbell. Beautiful play by Michael Franco for the first down.
The hot corner. Nice play. Ball came up. Nice dive. strong throw. Beautiful play.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Kevin Plawecki getting the start behind the plate today. Kevin played a lot early in the season when Travis d'Arnaud was first hurt before Rene Rivera established himself. But who expected what we're probably going to see in the postseason for the Mets when the year began, that Rene Rivera is likely to be the everyday catcher?
And you know what? He has come on. He hasn't hit great, but he has handled the pitchers, and he gives more to the team. He's so involved with his pitchers.
Up down to first, and Howard plays it himself, 2 out. Let me ask you this from a Mets perspective. With Syndergaard pitching on Wednesday night, facing the Giants versus facing the Cardinals, the Giants have much more team speed, many more base stealing threats, whether Bernard Span or Angel Pagan, whereas the Cardinals don't run hardly at all. Would that make you rather face the Cardinals because it takes Syndergaard's problems with the running game out of play? Or is that not a factor when you get to this point?
Well, there's always plus and minuses in a lot of areas. Certainly, it would be a very, very big concern for the Mets. I mean, then you look at the Cardinals bullpen, and for that matter, look at San Francisco's bullpen, for crying out loud.
Which has been a disaster area. Absolutely.
So all clubs have their warts and scars.
That stays fair, and Rupp will have to just slap a tag on him, and that retires the side. So 9 up and 9 down for Jared Eichhoff to start his day. No score in the third in Philadelphia. Deposit on your full or partial 2017 ticket plan today. Mets season ticket plans lock you in for all the big games, including opening day and the Subway Series, and give you priority postseason access. Place your deposit on a 2017 ticket plan at Mets.com/deposits or by calling 718-507-TIXX. Home third inning, Jared Eichhoff, the pitcher, leads off for the Phillies. He has 8 hits this year. Now he swings at the first one. Cabrera handles the hop, and Inoa's got the first out. So Inoa has faced 9 batters and thrown 19 pitches. It must be the last day of the season.
I think you're right. 4 ground balls. He's a ground ball pitcher. Has not given up a home run this year.
Well, when we talk about this incredible stretch the Mets have gone on, 27-12 over these last 39 games, what cannot escape attention is the way the Mets have done it with their starting pitching. With DeGrom now out for the year, and Matz, having not pitched since the middle of August, out for the year. Harvey long since out for the year. 22 of these last 41 games this season will have been started by pitchers who began this year in the minor leagues and had not made a single start in the big leagues this season till August 19th. So that's, we're talking about Lugo, Gazelman, Montero, Enoa, Gilmartin. And the Mets have gone 15-6 in those games so far, which is
amazing.
It's just off the charts amazing.
Yes.
I mean, you can understand somebody coming up and maybe one guy having some success, or winning a spot start here and there, doing what Ty Block did for the Giants last night in winning a key game. But to do it consistently for a quarter of the season with guys you never figured to count on, as Hernandez has a base hit, I mean, it's beyond the pale what's happened here.
Let's be honest and frank here. When the Mets weren't able to run DeGrom out and then Matz, I mean, we didn't know anything about Lugo or Gazelman. And I thought they were in big trouble.
Well, they were desperate enough that they brought John Neese back to fill a spot in the rotation. Remember? And
yes.
He started that game in St. Louis, had to leave in the first inning. Gazelman came out of the bullpen that day, and they won. Lugo pitched later in the series, and they won.
Yep.
And really, that's where everything took off. And they haven't looked back. And now you're in a situation where, because Syndergaard will pitch the wild card game, there's a bunt attempt by Paredes, and off the mound comes Enoa. Low throw, but Duda handles it nicely, and they get the out. Left side of the infield was open, so Paredes tried to take advantage, but he couldn't get it past Enoa.
Didn't butt it down the line enough. All he had to do was get it past the pitcher, and he can walk to first.
Well, they'll give him a sacrifice, even though that clearly. No sacrifice? No sacrifice. Oh,
that's the right call.
That's the first honest official score we've seen in ages.
Correct. On
a play like that.
Lucas's footwork around that bag there, he was in foul territory with one leg. I don't understand why. He could have got trampled.
I'm very proud of the official scorer here, because almost 100% of the time they've been giving sacrifices on a play like that.
When you're bunting for a base hit, forget it.
I agree with you.
Watch the footwork here on Lucas, and he's a one air. Come on, there you go. He should not be. Oh boy, that's going to get trampled. You don't want to do that.
Got his leg out of the way in time. Anyway, I was about to say, with Syndergaard pitching the wild card game, that means Cologne, if the Mets win, would open the division series against the Cubs on Friday, which would mean that either Lugo or Gazelman is your game 2 starter at Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field. Talk about getting thrown in the boiling water.
Most likely Gazelman, I would think, because I think although Lugo had the early upper hand, Gazelman over these last couple of starts has really taken steps forward.
He has, I think, become more confident, more comfortable, more zip on his fastball, more zip on his breaking ball. Good down breaker.
Then he'd be able to come back with Syndergaard in game 3 on regular rest, and then he'd have to go to the other guy, Lugo or Gazelman, in game 4.
But from a ball player's perspective, it's fun for us up here to project into the future. But the most important game. There you go. There's a swing and bunt.
Well, you couldn't roll it out there any better than Herrera just did. Came off the bat strangely, and he winds up with an infield hit.
Well, from a player's point of view, Garrett, as I was mentioning, it's always this is the mantra: one game at a time.
Well, never
for us up here, it's great to
never more so than in this scenario, because if you lose that game, season's over.
It's done.
Yeah,
one and done.
I mean, I guess it's always the case that you have to concentrate on today rather than tomorrow, but never is that more so than in an ultimate game, and in a one-game playoff. That is the ultimate game.
This is a game where you don't really put a lot of import in. It's the guys that wanted to play, want to stay fresh, feel they need an at bat.
Bronco pulls one through the hole, and that'll get the game's first run home. Hernandez comes in to score. Michael Franco drives in his 88th run. And it's 1-0 Phillies.
Well, a little unfortunate run here. Swinging bunt keeps the rally alive, and Franco's just had a great year.
ovations continue for Ryan Howard. He struck out his first time up today.
Won the National League Most Valuable Player in 2006.
And he rolls over one right down to Duda, and that retires a side. But the Phillies put together 3 hits and score the game's first run. 1-0 as we go to the 4th. Score. They're up 2-0 on the Dodgers. A win, and they are the wild card opponent for the Mets. Second time through the batting order for Jared Eichhoff. Curtis Granderson leads off. Let's go inside baseball with Steve Gelbs. His report today is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Steve?
Well, Gary, before we get too far into today's games, as you had been mentioning, last night's games, yesterday's games, very, very critical wins for both the Cardinals and the Giants, obviously. And kind of like the Mets, they're getting it done with unlikely heroes. You've talked a lot about Ty Blach already. First pitcher for the Giants in 25 years to go 8 shutout innings within his first 4 major league games. After the game, Buster Posey was asked if he remembers a young pitcher coming through in such a critical spot like that, and he said, yeah, Madison Bumgarner, who won Game 4 of the World Series in 2010. And then with the Cardinals, it's unlikely just because of how unlikely it is that he's been doing it all season, and that's Jed Jerko, who hit the winning home run yesterday. 3 straight games with a home run for Jerko. He has 23 since the All-Star break, which leads the National League. 17 of his 30 either to tie the game or put the Cardinals ahead.
You know what's amazing about that is that Jerko's home run yesterday was his 30th. He's the only Cardinal with 30 home runs, and yet they lead the National League in home runs. You know, you contrast that with the Mets, who have Cespedes with 30 and Granderson with 30, and Bruce, although he had most of them for the Reds, he's got 30 plus. And in fact, the Cardinals had not had a 30 home run hitter in 4 years since Carlos Beltran did it for them in 2012. And Jerko just came out of nowhere, 7 at the All-Star break and 23 since. Granderson takes it high, and the Mets have their first base runner of the day, a leadoff walk. So the Cardinals, I mean, this is so unlike this Cardinal team. They hit home runs. They don't play good defense. Their pitching is questionable. It's the opposite of what you expect the Cardinals to be. Granderson's going to come out of the game after drawing that walk, and this should spark a flood of substitutions. Juan Lagares will run for Granderson. And as the Mets discuss roster construction for the postseason, Lagares is a key piece that they would love to have for his defensive ability.
Well, for 2 reasons, too, is that obviously his defense, He would be a guy that you could pinch run with if you had to. But also that another right-hander on the bench.
Matt Reynolds hitting for Asdrubal Cabrera. The question, though, is how much Juan can swing the bat. We saw him hit a sacrifice fly the other day, and that was terrific. But can you count on him as your big right-handed bat off the bench in a big spot? You know who that job may fall to is Travis d'Arnaud. For as much as he struggled with Wilmer Flores apparently not going to be available at all, there just is a dearth of right-handed pinch hitting available for the Mets to select for their bench.
And then you run the risk of running your backup catcher out there. But you got to play to win. You got to manage to win. And if it means you got to empty that you're catching, you got to do it.
Maybe there's another way to do it. Maybe against a right-hand starter, maybe you start Kelly Johnson at second base, then you have T.J. Rivera as a right-handed bat off the bench.
That's a good point.
I mean, TJ's been playing most of the second base every day. There's strike 3 called, and Reynolds is caught looking. There's the 4th strikeout. But, you know, again, it's going to be one thing for the wild card where you're only going to pick 9 or 10 pitchers, so you have extra bench players. But for the division series and forward, because you've got these rookie starters, you can't afford to carry fewer than 12 pitchers. So you're talking about 5 bench guys. And it's going to be awfully difficult to make that cut. Here's Jay Bruce, who struck out his first time up. Live out your Mets fantasy this January. Suit up with Mets legends and take the field at Mets Fantasy Camp in Port St. Lucie, presented by Hospital for Special Surgery. For more information, visit Mets.com/fantasycamp or call 718-559-3035 today. Here's today's Verizon trivia question. Who was the Mets starting center fielder in the first ever night game played at Shea Stadium? This is a great question. Runner goes. Bruce swings and misses. Lagares is out at second base. So Cameron Rupp guns down Lagares for the second out. 2-6 on the caught stealing.
Nice throw right on the button. The tag right to the base, kids. You come right down on in front of that bag. The guy has got to touch the base. Don't worry about he pulls any gyrations or any tricks.
Bruce lines one to right, coming on Altair. He'll have to play it on a hop, and Bruce has a 2-out hit.
Well, there's the tag. Come straight down. Boom. There you go. Sweet.
Buddy Harrelson always told me that if you hit the front of the bag, then the runner has to slide into it.
Right.
Right? You take the
right.
glove, you hit the front of the bag, and you can't miss.
You all have those takeaway guys. They pull the leg. They pull. Hey, you leave the glove with the bag. They got to come back.
Exactly.
They got to come to mama, so to speak. I say that loosely.
Or Papa. don't put down the Papas. Lucas Duda struck out his first time up. Bruce at first and 2 out.
And one more time on the tag.
And for Lagares, who had the thumb surgery, that hard tag
I know
on that left hand probably didn't feel great.
I don't particularly worry about him sliding head first.
Interesting that Lagares tried to steal there too, Keith, because you know some of his perceived value comes from the fact the Mets don't have a lot of team speed. He provides some.
He certainly does. He and Reyes, and you know Granderson used to be a stealer, but he's in his elder statesman now, baseball wise.
Mets only have 41 stolen bases as a team this year. Lagares has 4 of them. He's now been caught twice. Of course, missed ample time because of the thumb surgery. And Duda strikes out of the breaking ball. Good curve by Eichhoff to finish him off. 5 strikeouts for Jared Eichhoff. Let's get their first base runners. But Eichhoff with a 1-0 lead going to the bottom of the 4th. Stays in at short. Juan Lagares, who pinch ran, stays in center field, and Alejandro De Aza comes in to play right field. So Cabrera, Granderson, and Bruce each get 2 at-bats, then come out. Cameron Rupp leads off in the 4th inning and fouls one back. Rupp lined out to right his first time up. Gabriel Ynoa starting his 4th inning, and he has done it with minimal effort, with the Phillies going up there swinging. Slider by Ynoa, and it's 0-2. Rupp, then Andres Blanco and Aaron Altair in the bottom of the 4th against Ynoa, making his 3rd big league start. And Rupp hits one right at Reynolds, gives some ground, and makes the throw on target, 1 away. Tomless moment brought to you by Coors Banquet. This was in the course of the locker room celebration yesterday. As Steve was interviewing Terry Collins, his guys came over and gave him the affectionate dousing.
Well, I think the pitcher says 1,000 words. They really like their manager. I think it's pretty apparent. Look at the smiles. They love playing for Terry. It's important for a manager to have respect of his players. You don't have to be liked. It helps, but they've got to have you're the authority. You're the top sergeant that's leading the squad. And I just think the world of Terry as a manager and as a person, and I'm just thrilled for him. I think he's got to be up for serious consideration for manager of the year. There's a lot of other guys, but what he did with this ball club to keep it treading water and all throughout all those injuries says a lot for Terry. It says a lot for the players, but it says a lot for the manager.
Well, I think it's 2 years in a row now that he has managed to steer the ship through rough times. Now, last year, acknowledged he got plenty of help from the front office, bringing in Cespedes and all the other guys that helped them go on that great run over the last 2 months. But this year, it was internal options, it was minor leaguers, it was guys who were not expected to be part of the mix.
And you know, he wasn't afraid to use the players, and in some situations he had to.
Right.
But he played hunches, and it always seemed to come up roses or aces.
So now he gets to go into the postseason for the second straight year. And Terry was asked today, so what did you learn from the experience last year that you might, utilize this year in the postseason? He said, I'm going to Familia.
Yes, of course.
Of course, that's the one that will live forever. His decision to leave Matt Harvey in Game 5. Well, the Giants trying to make all the suspense go away early. Off to a 5-0 lead over Kenta Maeda and the Dodgers.
Oh boy, people in St. Louis aren't happy. They're playing right now. Obviously, everybody's playing at the same time.
Well, the Cardinals have already gotten their break. It came Thursday night with that ground rule double that wasn't.
Yep.
Altair pulls one foul. Cardinals had some timeless moments of their own the last couple of nights. Matt Holliday hitting a pinch hit home run Friday night, then a pinch hit single yesterday after the Cardinals told him they were not picking up his option. There's a 2-out walk to Altair. So that's yet another farewell in the offing today. Holliday's probable last day as a Cardinal.
Another year, Gare. 11. You and I, bosom buddies.
Where does the time go? Bosom buddies? You mean like Tom Hanks?
I can get a little silly here. It's the last day of the season.
Are you saying that other days
I'm saying
you don't get silly?
I'm
Eichhoff gets a hold of one over toward the left field line, and Conforto goes over to grab it, and that retires a side. More silliness from Keith as we go to the 5th inning. The Phillies up 1-0.
To start the season, we thought it was going to be easy, and we know it's not. And then to go through what we had to go through and then to show up the last 2 months. So this guy, I mean, it's so glad to have him home and where he belongs. He brings to play on our stage. You got to really want to love it, and he loves it more than anybody I've been around.
Thank you.
There were a lot of trepidations on a lot of different levels about bringing Jose Reyes back after his suspension and the domestic violence issue that he had with his wife. And the Mets made the decision to bring him back. And certainly from a baseball standpoint, from a clubhouse standpoint, it could not have worked out better.
Absolutely. Talk about a new lease on life. He was not happy in Colorado, Jose. We know that. We saw him there, very despondent. hey, you get a break, get a second chance. He's made the most of it.
Kelly Johnson leads off for the Mets in the 5th inning. Kelly flied out to center his first time up. Well, we told you the Giants are up 5-0. If they win, they're in, and the Mets play the Giants in Madison Bumgarner Wednesday night. Developments in the American League wild card race as well. The Orioles now lead the Yankees 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th. If Baltimore wins, they're in. Toronto and Boston still no score in the 3rd. If the Blue Jays win, they're in. The Tigers need one of those teams to lose, and they need to win, but the Tigers are trailing 1-0 in Atlanta in the 3rd. Trust me, there's a 1 there behind Aaron Alter. There it is. Johnson slugs one out to left center field. Back in the gap, Herrera with Paredes, and Paredes can't make the catch. It bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. Well, Paredes, who had an awful time tracking a ball toward the left field line yesterday when Curtis Granderson dunked one in for a double, this time did not do a very good job on Johnson's fly ball. And so Johnson gets a double.
It's a high fly ball here and deep. It's only you got to catch that ball, don't you? It's Major Leagues.
He has not shown himself to be a very capable big league outfielder. So the Mets have their second hit, and now Michael Conforto, who struck out his first time up. Well, when the Mets, if they face the Giants, take on Madison Bumgarner on Wednesday night, this is what they've done against him this year. And remember who had the biggest hit against Bumgarner, which just tells you how much things have changed with this team over and over this year. Remember the big hit? Justin Ruggiano, grand slam.
Right. Dead central.
And of course, Ruggiano only played a handful of games for the Mets before he hurt his knee, and he's out for the year.
Well, there's another guy,
shoulder
guy on the injury list that was very important.
Yeah, for a few days.
Yes.
I mean, that's the way this season has gone. You've had these cameo appearances by different players at different times that have made all the difference in the world.
And now you got Flores down, and it really, really, really puts a hole in that right side of the bench. We talked about it earlier. Because Wilmer showed himself quite capable of tearing into left-hand pitching this season.
Of course, if you have a strike three called, Conforto called out on the high strike, 6 strikeouts for Eichhoff. If you have the Syndergaard-Bumgarner matchup, you also have the factor of 2 guys who are capable of hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
Right, 2 good hitters.
Yeah.
Oh, remember that game he pitched? He hit the home run foul. Who was the pitch in that game? I remember I turned to you and I said, wouldn't it be rich if he just knocked him down after that first pitch? He hit the home run foul. And he hit a home run that game.
Yes, he did. Here's Eric Campbell, robbed of a hit his first time up by Franco, and he takes a strike. Josh Smoker up in the Mets bullpen. You know about he's at 59 pitches. Pitcher spot 2 batters away. Ground ball for Blanco. And he throws out Campbell for the second out as Johnson goes to third. Well, tomorrow get an inside look at all the latest Mets playoff news with insider info and expert analysis and an in-depth breakdown of the Mets wild card game on Mets Playoffs Live, presented by Jeep. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6 only on SNY. And let's also add that before every Mets postseason game this year, there will be 2 full hours of pregame coverage. And Keith and I are very pleased once again this year to be a part of that pregame coverage and the postgame coverage.
And I have to break out my Thomas Jefferson coat again.
Well,
it gets cold.
Hopefully it won't be quite as chilly as it was in the postseason last year.
I don't think it's going to be.
Not
early.
Initially anyway.
Early, yes.
I mean, we had some really cold nights last year in October. And then November was much more temperate toward the right field line, and that'll go foul off the bat of Plawecki, and it's 0-2. So Keith and I will be there.
Whether you like it or not.
Every game, home and road, 2 hours before the game, with, of course, the regular, pregame crew with Gary Apple and Nelson Figueroa.
Correct. And then Ronnie, if it goes further, when Ronnie gets through with his duties.
Well, if we get to the World Series.
Right, Ronnie will join us.
Because Ronnie has been exiled to the American League this October, much to our dismay. You know, last year we at least had him around in the National League for the Mets run. Off the leg of Plawecki, and it's 0-2. Where's Ronnie today? He's up in Boston, right? For the Red Sox and Blue Jays. He could be on quite a path the next few days if things develop properly.
It's got to be fun for Ronnie. He's from Boston, a Red Sox fan, the kid growing up and seeing Poppy's last game. Big ceremony.
Yeah, I understand they had quite an extravaganza there today, dwarfing what they had here for Ryan Howard, and you can understand why. As important as David Ortiz has been for the Red Sox, Commissioner is there today as well. Plawecki lays off the curveball, and it's 2-2. James Loney's out on deck. He'll pinch hit if Plawecki keeps the inning going. Johnson at third and 2 out. And Plawecki goes down to the curve to end the inning. 7 strikeouts for Jared Eichhoff. He's got 5 scoreless innings, and we're halfway through on the final regular season day. 1-0. Home 5th inning. 3rd time around the batting order for Gabriel Ynoa. Cesar Hernandez again tries to bunt his way on, and that one rolled foul. Today get a complete Jets Seahawks game breakdown with behind the scenes access, player reactions, and Todd Bowles post game comments. I'm sure he won't be happy. On Jets post game live presented by Toyota today immediately after the Mets post game right here on SNY. What happened to the Jets, Keith? You followed this stuff.
Well, they got beat, Gary.
See, that's the kind of in-depth analysis that we really crave. It's just off the charts. Hernandez is 1 for 2 today, had a base hit and scored the only run in the 3rd. And the corners coming a little closer after 2 bunt attempts. 2 balls and a strike. Jerry Blevins up in the Mets bullpen. That's going to be another question for the Mets roster construction going into the wild card game. You're going to keep 9 pitchers for the wild card game, maybe 10. You need to have a second starter just in case you need a long man, or if something happens to Syndergaard warming up. And then you have 7 other relievers. Strike 3 is Hernandez's fan. Do you keep 2 lefties? Do you keep 3 lefties? And does it matter if you play the Giants or the Cardinals? Giants have more left-hand hitters in their lineup than the Cardinals do.
That's a good call. I've always liked having more of a bench. You could certainly go with 3 left-handers, but you can get by with 2.
Well, certainly Blevins is 1. Then the question is Edgin or Smoker.
That's another tough choice.
Terry Collins said he needed to get Edgin in the game today anyway as a tightener. Smoker's had some good innings for the Mets coming down the stretch as Paredes grounds one into the shift. But Smoker's numbers against left-hand hitters are not particularly strong. Not really that situational lefty that maybe Edgin would give you. 2 out, and Terry Collins on his way out to the mound. And I think he wants to get Blevins a left-hand batter here, and that's why he's going to take Noah out of the game. This is all about tuning up. So Noah gives the Mets 4 2/3 solid innings on the season's final regular season day, and Blevins will come in to relieve him. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. 1-0 Phils in the 5th. We'll be right back. Training with Delta Airlines and Delta Dugout. Visit sny.tv/Delta Dugout for details. Jerry Blevins comes in to get a left-hand hitter.
Well, the final tune-up, 72 games and only 41 2/3. That shows you that Blevins is basically a lefty specialist, although he's pitched really well against right-handers this year.
Odubel Herrera 0 for 6 in his career against Blevins. Had an infield hit his last time up.
And remember another thing too, when Familia was overworked, Blevins came in September and got a couple saves, big saves. So it's just been that kind of a year for the Mets where everybody, it's all hands on deck.
Well, there have been very few areas of the team, whether it's because of injury or ineffectiveness, that have been terrific from start to finish. But the 2 guys at the end of the bullpen, Reed and Familia, they have been the rocks. The guys have been there all year. And I guess with Colon and Syndergaard, they've been the most consistent pieces for the Mets all season.
No question.
He picked up his 51st save in the game yesterday, continuing to extend his club record, and he will be heavily counted upon once the postseason begins.
Well, he's going to be the big guy. Blevins is going to be the big guy to come in and get that big left-handed bat out. They got to get that out.
1-2 coming, and the breaking ball lined right at Kelly Johnson, a soft one for the third out. So Blevins gets his man. We've played 5, 1-0 Philadelphia. For the Giants during a win in Minnesota in his video preview of tomorrow's game against the Vikings, only on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Well, here's the hero of yesterday's Mets clincher, James Loney, pinch hitting as we go to the 6th inning, and he yanks one foul, broke his bat. This was in the 6th inning yesterday, game tied at 2 when Loney stepped up.
Yes, sir. Did it again. Look at the smile.
The epic backdrop. It was like a mic drop.
Terrific.
Great moment for Loney and a great moment for the Mets. They went in front 4-2, never looked back in their 5-3 victory for the clincher.
Picked him up off of the heap in AAA, where he was hitting 380 down there. Wally Backman, I was keeping an eye on him. Got Mr. Loney when Duda went down, and boy, has he done a heck of a job.
Think of the guys the Mets picked up off the scrap heap. Loney, Rene Rivera, Jose Reyes. All of them were either suspended, released, in the minor leagues and other organizations. And then think about the guys who they brought up from their own farm system who were afterthoughts. TJ Rivera, Seth Lugo, Robert Gazelman. The late trade for Fernando Salas from the Angels, a little remarked upon at the time, but that's proved to be huge for the Mets.
Yes.
To solidify the back end. Loney pops one up into shallow center, and Blanco goes out to get it. 1 out. Here's your Mets box score, brought to you by StubHub. Mets with just 2 hits so far this afternoon. Granderson, Cabrera, and Bruce all coming out quickly after this game began. Cespedes and Reyes out of the lineup as the Mets tune up for Wednesday. Here's Juan Lagares' first at bat of the game. Came into pinch run in the fourth. Was caught stealing. Juan has had just a handful of at bats since returning from thumb surgery. Had the surprising at bat in Miami where he delivered a sacrifice fly when everybody wasn't even aware he was cleared to swing yet. And that certainly was an encouraging sign for his being able to be used more extensively for possible postseason work. That's nub foul. Well, as we get to the final day of the season, it always is important for us to thank the many dozens of people without whom we wouldn't be able to do our jobs. Some people who generally don't get nearly enough credit on these broadcasts, both within our SNY family and in the Mets family, starting with the Mets Media Relations Department, Jay Horwitz and Ethan and Melissa and Nelson and Mike and all the interns and everybody who does such a great job there. And the Mets front office, Lorraine Hamilton and David Newman, who make our lives so much easier. The folks in the Mets in-house entertainment department who coordinate so well with our truck, Tim and Vito and Joe, thank you. You guys make it seamless for us, especially when the Mets have big events on the field. Seventh pitch of the at bat to Lagares, and he takes a call, third strike, 2 out. That's 8 strikeouts for Eichhoff, 1 shy of a season high. This is a really important one, Keith, and I know near and dear to your heart. Gracie and her crew in the media dining area.
Correct. They keep us fed and from getting ornery.
I especially like when you get room service. You know, the food brought into the booth where you don't even have to get up, especially since your knee injury.
They brought in a few other things too under the table no one knows about.
Maybe nobody should. And all the Citi Field security, and I don't want to short anybody, but we have to single out Brian, who sits at our door and makes sure that nobody disturbs you.
Well,
Reynolds grounds one over the back. That's a fair ball going down the line. The ball girl just barely gets out of the way, and the ball goes all the way into the corner. And Reynolds thinks about 3, but he'll hold up as Paredes runs it down in the deep corner. So it's a 2-out double for Matt Reynolds, and the Mets' 3rd hit of the game. The ball girl wasn't sure which way to go.
Just over the bag. And let's see what she does. Oh, well, there we go. We're going to not spotlight the ball girl down there.
We edited the ball girl out of the replay. So a runner at second with 2 out, and here's Alejandro De Aza batting for the first time. Oh, don't forget the parking people at Citi Field. Our buddies in Lot R, because they always give you special treatment there.
Well, yes, they always do. They get us parked. They make sure we don't run anybody over when we're leaving. We'll be back out of our spots.
Yeah, and the truck, they don't get your prime elite parking space, so they want to thank the people in Lot A, especially Dave and Holiday.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. All of our passes, they get the preferential VIP parking over in Lot A, or actually it's Lot 1, Lot G. Can't forget those guys.
De Aza hits one toward the middle of the diamond, and that gets through for a base hit. Reynolds around third. He heads for the plate, and the Mets tie the game on a 2-out hit from Alejandro De Aza. It's 1-1.
Well, De Aza just continues to be productive, Gare. He just had such a terrible first half. Oh boy, and now this whole second half, he has just turned it on. He's been in the big leagues a long time. He's a veteran.
So 2-out De Aza at first. Game now tied, and here's Duda, who's been up twice and struck out both times. Nobody up in the Phillies bullpen. Eichhoff's final start of the year. He's at 82 pitches. They pulled him after 45 in his last start in Atlanta. but he is finishing the season strong. The biggest problem for Eichhoff this year has been the home run ball.
30.
That's pulled and just foul.
30 home runs he's given up this year.
It's the second most in the league.
He's given up 18 to left-handers and 12 to right-handers.
Only pitcher who's given up more is Dan Straley of the Reds, who have set the major league record this year. The Reds have, giving up the most home runs any team ever has.
Gary, you're in a good mood today, aren't you? I can just feel it.
You know, I wasn't necessarily in a good mood when I got here, Keith, but then I saw you.
No, you were cranky this morning.
I realized it was the last day of the season.
You snipped it.
I was very snippy.
Oh, it was terrible. I'm glad to see you come out of it. Kerry, you snipped at Kerry.
It's you who snapped me out of it, Keith. I realize it's the last day of the season. It's a time for joy. It's a time for looking ahead and looking behind. And a time for thank yous, which we've been doing this in.
Well, this crowd's into it.
It's a big crowd. Nice turnout for Ryan Howard's celebration. That one's nubbed down to third. Franco will go to first with it in time to get Duda. And that retires the side, but not before the Mets get even on a couple of 2-out hits. 1-1 going to the bottom of the sixth. Some of the happy pictures from yesterday here in Philadelphia after the Mets clinched their second consecutive postseason berth, only the second time in 55 years of Mets history that they'll be going to the postseason in back-to-back years. Michael Franco leads off against Josh Smoker and fouls one back.
It's never easy to get back in the dance.
Well, here's a little symmetry. The only other time that the Mets got into the postseason in back-to-back years was '99 and 2000. And the second of those two years in 2000, the first team they played in the postseason was the Giants. And it may well be again this year. Giants are up 5-1 on the Dodgers. That game's in the fourth inning.
Nice.
That's poked into right field, a base hit for Franco. He's now 3 for 3. Of course, that division series with the Giants in 2000 was memorable for a lot of different reasons.
It's a great series.
Ryan Howard gets yet another ovation. Howard is 0 for 2 today, struck out and grounded out. And he takes a strike. What he wouldn't give to provide one more moment for these Phillies fans. Comebacker to Smoker. Out at second. Reynolds with a turn for the 1-6-3 double play. 2 out and nobody on. Ryan Howard being feted all day today. Before the game today, this big crowd came out here almost exclusively to honor their slugger, who has been such a huge piece of the Phillies for a dozen years, and the Mets paying tribute to him as well. He has been a vaunted opponent. And Ryan getting a little bit emotional when he made his speech to the crowd. Cameron Rupp, and he fouls one off, and that one caught Plawecki's flush on the mask.
Ding dong. Got your bell rung.
You don't play much for a long period of time, and you get that, and I think his mask got dented, and he's going to trade it out for a new one. Anyway, we were talking about 2000 when the Mets played the Giants. There were a number of reasons why that series was so memorable. The Mets lost the first game and then won the second in San Francisco after they blew a 3-run lead in the ninth when John Franco struck out Barry Bonds to end the game, looking on a changeup. Game 3 when Benny Agbayani hit the 13th inning home run off Aaron Foltz to put the Mets ahead in the series. And then Game 4 when Bobby Jones pitched a one-hitter to clinch the series.
That was one of the finest postseason games. Even Al Leiter pitched a great post. It wasn't postseason. It was an extra game of the season.
It was the tiebreaker in '99. Yeah. So that's the only time the Mets and Giants have ever met in the postseason, and they could be headed for another date Wednesday night. Here's Cameron Rupp with Plawecki now sporting a new mask. And the breaking ball misses from Smoker, 1-1. Ran that ball in on him, and it's 1-2. Gabriele Noel went 4 2/3, allowed a run on 5 hits. Jerry Blevins faced one batter, got an out, and now Smoker trying to get through the 6th. Two and 2 to Rupp. See, the Blue Jays have gone in front of the Red Sox 1-0 in the 5th. The Baltimore Orioles now are up 5-1 on the Yankees in the 6th. So if both those teams win, Toronto and Baltimore, then that's it.
It's adios.
They play each other in the wild card game on Tuesday. Struck him out with a high fastball, so Smoker fans Rupp to end the inning. And that sends us off to the 7th with the Mets and Phillies tied at 1. tied 1-1 in game number 162. Jared Eichhoff done after 6 terrific innings in his last start of the season. Colton Murray in for the Phillies.
23 games, not a good ERA. This Philly bullpen has been high test, octane.
Well, we're winding through the final innings of this regular season, and the guy who's been in that clubhouse all year, absorbing champagne baths. He had several of them last year, and another one yesterday. Steve Gelb. Steve, how's your wardrobe?
The wardrobe is totally shot, but I've told Kurt Gowdy Jr. that he'll get me a new one. So hoping that comes through.
Another checked shirt in the offing, huh?
Just for you, Gary. Just for you.
You've been down in that clubhouse all year, Steve, and seen the development of this team and the incredible transformation of it from a team dominated by young, dynamic starting pitching to a melange of pieces that has somehow come together to bring the team to this point. What's been your impression of the progression of this team from a personal standpoint?
Well, you know, Gary, first of all, it all kind of crystallized for me yesterday driving back from the ballpark back to the hotel. Yesterday in the post-game celebration for a postseason clincher, I did not interview a single player that I interviewed last year in Cincinnati when the Mets clinched the postseason, and that just goes to show you how much this team has changed over the last year. But what really stands out, you know, last year it was those young starting pitchers. This year it's the youth that has come in, like we've talked about, and it far exceeded expectations, namely Robert Gesellman, Seth Lugo, and a guy like TJ Rivera. You know, we from the outside have been stunned by what they've done, but talking with them on a daily basis and seeing how they carry themselves, they have not been surprised at all. They have kind of rolled with the punches. No moment has seemed too big when you speak with them, almost like they've been expecting something like this, preparing for this their entire lives, which they have. Now, and I don't know if that's just a credit to them as players. Certainly you have to give credit to the organization, as Kelly Johnson signals there, for recognizing those two guys and those three guys, and of course to the guys at the minor league level who developed them. But that has been the one thing that stood out to me, just how normal it has seemed to them, where for everybody else it seems so abnormal that they could come in and do that.
Steve, when you've been down in that clubhouse after the games and reporting, when this team was at rock bottom and that road trip out to Phoenix and San Francisco, when they hit 2 under 500, what was the feel in the clubhouse then, and then when they came out of it at the end of that road trip? Was there a different feel? Was there anything that you sensed from the players?
Yeah, Keith, there was. You know, I think at that moment we all thought what they were saying was kind of lip service. I mean, 5.5 back, 2 games under 500. The season looked like it was in some significant peril, if not over. But you have to remember that last game that they lost, the second game of that series against San Francisco, that's when, as Drupal Cabrera came back, Yoenis Cespedes was getting healthy. And there was this feel in the clubhouse that, hey, we've been missing a couple of our big guys. Maybe we do have a last gasp in us. Again, I'm not sure that we bought into it, but you know, the one thing you hear from Jay Bruce specifically about his struggles to now is how it's about sticking with the process and not worrying about the results. And I think that's what this team has done on a larger scale, is when it would have been easy to throw in the towel, they kept seeing reasons to play on, to believe, and to just worry about one game at a time. And I think a lot of players and a lot of teams say that, but this Mets team clearly believed that, and that's been a big reason for the success.
Really has been an extraordinary story as Conforto strikes out for the first out. I think back to the arrival in the big leagues of Matt Harvey and Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard and Steven Matz, and you know, they all, other than deGrom, came with a lot of hype, and they've all succeeded at a certain level. And the fact that a guy like deGrom could come up, not quite as heralded as the other guys, and be as dominant as he proved to be, and win Rookie of the Year, be an all-star, and accomplish all that he did, I wonder whether that greases the path for less heralded guys like Gesellman and Lugo to do the same thing, and as Steve said, and arrive with such incredible self-confidence that they can do it too.
Well, you know, you never know what goes on inside of the head of the athlete, and you can't tell me that anybody comes up to the big leagues, they aren't a little bit overwhelmed. You know, I've worked my whole life to get here, and now here I am. Now I'm pitching against Ryan Howard. I mean, you don't know what's going on. I've seen Gazelman's confidence grow. Lugo has been pretty even-keeled, but you know they have seen undaunted about pitching these pressure games. They haven't had a full season.
It's amazing. It really is when you think about the totality of it and the number of different people who have had to come up or come from other organizations and have success for the group to do what it's done over this last quarter of the season. It's just remarkable. And for the stalwart to be a 43-year-old guy who was supposed to be in the bullpen the second half of the season.
15-game winner again.
He's been the most reliable guy they've had.
We talked about it before the game, Gary. It's extraordinary what Bartolo has done. Like you said, most guys that are 43, they're knuckleballers.
Johnson runs and it's fouled off.
He is doing a conventional pitcher doing things that I haven't seen. It's just extraordinary.
And if the Mets win Wednesday night, he'll have the ball for Game 1 at Wrigley Field in the division series on Friday night. And you know what? We thought last year that Marichal and Dennis Martinez were completely beyond his his reach. And Bart knew he was on the camera.
He's actually
wanted to get Rene Rivera in on the shot. Very nice. But you know what? Now at 233, he's 10 behind Marichal and 12 behind Dennis Martinez, and he can come back next year, and maybe it's with the Mets and maybe it's with somebody else, and he might get those records that appeared to be completely out of his reach at this time last year.
And guys, it probably doesn't get spoken about enough either, just how much of a leader he is in that clubhouse. And he's a big reason why a lot of these guys were able to stay even-keeled and go about the process as well. And I think, you know, you look at what Jerry's Familia has become as Campbell lines out to right field right there. But Familia talks all the time about how much easier it is for him to shake off bad outings now than it would have been even a year ago, just based on what Bartolo Colon says and how Bartolo Colon carries himself. And even a guy like Noah Syndergaard. I asked Noah Syndergaard yesterday about his process of elevating himself from someone who was one of 4 young, powerful arms to now the undisputed staff ace. And the first thing he said is, well, I just try and take the lead of Bartolo Colon, watch what he does, watch how he carries himself. So sometimes we talk about what he does on the field, but Bartolo Colon has been so key when a lot of leadership left this clubhouse due to injury.
And I think that's a great point that you make, because we made a lot of that earlier this year, right? Michael Kadire was a big factor in that clubhouse. He was gone at the start of this year. David Wright got hurt and really has been missing for most of this season, and that left a leadership void. Neil Walker filled part of that for a while, but then he got hurt and he's out for the year. Johnson takes off and he steals the base as Rupp can't handle the pitch, so Johnson has his 4th stolen base of the year. But Colon is part of that, and the other guy who doesn't get nearly enough credit is Asdrubal Cabrera, because Cabrera has been an incredible stabilizing force for this team. And you know, he's been a stabilizing influence for Yoenis Cespedes, who, you know, is a little bit more of a volatile personality, and having Cabrera for Cespedes has been an enormous help for this team.
Well, he's been the kind of the warrior too. He's the one that's been banged up and battered and runs out there every day on a bum knee, and I just have nothing but respect for him and what he's done this season. And let's not forget Jose Reyes' contributions.
Yep.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yep.
Again, we can go on and on and on and on.
And in Reyes' case, on and off the field, I think that, you know, what happened to him and what obviously was his responsibility that put him in jeopardy of his career being over has lent him a maturity and a voice in that clubhouse that maybe he wouldn't have had 5 or 10 years ago. So it's truly a remarkable story, and one about which, you know, depending on how far they go in this postseason, some rather interesting retrospectives will be written, I would think. That's driven to center field off the bat of Plawecki, and Herrera can't get it. It'll go to the wall. Johnson will come in with the go-ahead run. Kevin Plawecki with a booming RBI double, and the Mets go in front 2-1 in the 7th. That's the Kevin Plawecki we saw a couple of springs ago. That ball driven to right center field.
Oh, he gets this ball right down the pipe and drives it to the opposite field, just out of the reach of Cabrera. Gets a glove on it.
So the Mets go in front for the first time today, and now Ty Kelly will be a pinch hitter. Well, as if things weren't dire enough for the Cardinals, they're now down 2-1 to the Pirates. If the Giants win, then what the Cardinals do is moot, and the Giants are up 5-1 in the 5th. Giants with a win clinch the spot opposite the Mets in the wild card game Wednesday night. And all apologies to the Cardinals. I think that for a neutral observer, for anybody around baseball, they love the idea of Syndergaard against Bumgarner on Wednesday night. It's one of those delicious matchups that everybody in baseball will look forward to. Two and one to Ty Kelly, and that's hit deep to left field. Back goes Paredes to the warning track, and a step in front of the fence. He makes the catch. Mets grab the lead on Plawecki's RBI double. 7th inning stretch, 2-1 New York.
I mean, you know, Cabrera played hurt, Cess played hurt, you know, the pitching fell apart on us and guys were banged up and they pitched with discomfort, and, you know, we brought kids up and put them in tough situations and they responded. They got great heart and great character. To be on this stage, to win, you got to have great character, and we got it in here.
They've got great character in their players and in their manager as well, and that's why they're here. Ty Kelly stays in the game at second base after pinch hitting, and Eric Goodell will pitch the bottom of the 7th.
Well, there's Eric's numbers. He was a big part in the middle of the season, and then it just kind of hit a wall, got sent down. Pitched better of late.
Gabriel Noah went 4 2/3, allowed a run on 5 hits. Jerry Blevins got an out. Josh Smoker worked a scoreless inning. He's now pitcher of record on the long side. Got some more people to thank, making our lives much easier and getting these broadcasts on the air. We want to thank our friends at Game Creek, our truck vendor. That's Pat and Garrett Sullivan, and our home engineers Jared, Wes, and Brett. The Citi Field Ballpark operations chief Susan Lucci, who has done such a great job for so many years at Shea Stadium and at Citi Field. The Mets traveling secretary Brian Small, who makes sure we get to the right place at the right time. Our equipment manager, Mets equipment manager Kevin Kierst, who makes sure that our luggage arrives safely. That's very important. Our technical manager Ed Ryan and our road technical manager Levi Philippi. They make sure everything works, which is really important in television, because if the power goes out, if the cameras go out, there's no TV.
Well, I remember our first opening day. Remember the first season at Citi Field. Remember when someone pulled the plug on us?
I do remember that very well.
Everybody was running crazy around the ballpark finding out where the plug was.
That's pulled foul. Our technical crew, especially at home, all the guys, the cameramen, the audio engineers, the videotape operators, the video technicians, too numerous to mention, who are the heart and soul of our broadcast. Our technical director on the road, Dave Armini, our audio guy on the road, Steve Howard, do a great job.
They're all great.
They are, because if they weren't great, we couldn't be great. And sometimes, we aspire to be great. 2-2 to Blanco. Of course, the folks who are nearest and dearest to us, our stage managers, Russ Welkin, who we said goodbye to the other day, and Kerry Larberfeld, who's here with us in Philadelphia. That's it up the middle, and Blanco's got a base hit to start the home seventh. Second hit of the day for Andres Blanco. And that puts the tying run on base.
Ripped up the middle. Big rip. Everybody's always been fabulous, and we'd be remiss without, well, we can hold off on that.
Then we get to our core group, the people we travel with all over the country, who are with us every day and make this broadcast tick. That's boxed around by Plawecki. His throw hits the runner, and he'll stay put. Blanco got the brunt of that, a ball that Plawecki couldn't stop. And so Blanco, with aggressive base running, winds up at second base.
Oh boy.
That'll be a pass ball.
Wow.
Oh, it hit the umpire. I thought it hit the runner. How about that?
It can't happen.
Second
this
base
can't
umpire
happen.
Ted Barrett.
Ted.
Taking the blow.
I've never seen that. What's going on? I want a full review after the season's over.
Could you write that up in triplicate? Aaron Alter takes the curveball high, and it's 2-0. Anyway, we had two newcomers in our truck this year. Tom Rocklin, who made the elevation from intern to valued piece.
Yes.
And Eddie Warman, who came to us from Baltimore, and I think he wins Rookie of the Year award.
Eddie says.
Exactly. How many guys have a segment named after them in their rookie season?
I didn't agree with half the stuff that came out of he thought of. I don't know what planet he's from, but he's got some ideas.
It's funny. 3-1 now to Altair. Cody Ashe on deck to pinch hit. The multi-talented John DeMarsico, who finds stuff that we put on the air video-wise that I don't know where he finds it.
Well, John was the one that picked me off the ground when I did the hike up in Phoenix when I bruised my knee and I fell.
There's that
sprained
too.
my ankle. I was laying on my back and John offered me a hand. What was very, very nice of him.
There are others who might have left you there, you know. It was very nice of John. Three and two to Altair with Ashe on deck to pinch hit. Blanco at second and nobody out. And that's ball 4. 3-2 splitter. And that puts 2 runners on. And then we get to our directors.
Yes.
Dan Barr, who's taken over the bulk of the directing this year, providing all the great pictures for you. And the man at whose feet he learned, the greatest director in the history of baseball television, the incredibly talented, heavily awarded, and highly irascible Bill Webb.
Mr. Webb, who I cut my teeth in this business with. I know what always what he said to me. He said, "Watch the monitor," and I could never understand it. There's Bill. Watch the monitor.
That's only a few of his many Emmys, by the way.
He'll be the first one to tell you. They're over 40, I believe.
So, if his goal is for you to watch the monitor, couldn't you just do the game from home?
Precisely.
Get you a little home studio. We'd miss you. 0-2 to Ashe.
So anyway, Bill has been a dear friend. Bill was directing back in the Sports Channel days when I came over from the Cardinals. So I've known Bill for a very long time. And we've told a lot of stories together on different occasions on the road at various hotel bars.
Sometimes well into the night.
Well, Bill's the one that got me fined all the time. I used to smoke, and I would hide in the dugout, and he would get the doggone camera on me, and I'd say, "Bill, you're killing me."
At least it didn't ruin your career.
He was trying to get me to quit, I think.
Did it work?
I don't smoke. I haven't had a cigarette in years.
So there you go. That's another notch on his ledger.
And I do not miss it. It's been since 1994, 93. It's been a long time.
And that brings us to the most important person on our broadcast, our producer, Greg Picker, who, I don't know, without him, we don't exist. He pushes all the right buttons. He's like the manager. He chooses the lineup. He decides when to hit and run, when to steal. He talks in our ears. Sometimes we just repeat what he says, right, Keith?
Yes, he does. He's a big part of the broadcast. He is willing to take chances, and you know, it's the humdrum of 162 games to make it fun.
Duda knocks it down but can't make the play. The backhand flip goes awry, and now the run's going to score as nobody covered home plate. Throw goes to third, and the Phillies have tied the game. When that ball trickled by Goodell, Plawecki was there to back up, and there was nobody to cover home. That enabled Blanco to go to an unoccupied home plate and score the tying run.
They flashed up 2 errors up there, Gary. So the error they're calling right here, and then an error in the throw, correct? Is a double error on Lucas?
That would seem to be the case.
Well, the Phillies are hustling. Good heads up by Blanco. Plawecki's got to go to the ball. He's the only one there. And anyway, they were unable to score, and he didn't make a very strong throw to third. But
so 2 errors, both on Duda, enabled the Phillies to tie the game, and they have first and third and Nobody out. So a single, a pass ball, a walk, and then a double error. And now the go-ahead run at third with nobody out for Cesar Hernandez, who's 1 for 3. And there's a strike, 1-1. The one thing I'll say about Greg Picker, our producer, he is the most creative among us.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. He's furthered my career along, and I've been getting me to go out there and take chances, and I have a lot to be grateful. I think we all do.
Yes, we
having
do.
Greg in that truck, and you know, he's quirky. He's got a great sense of humor, and he knows the game. So, folks, when we're talking about something, Greg listens to every our word. That's his job. If he gets paid the big bucks, he's got to listen to us. And if we don't have enough, he thinks we need to add more to what we're saying. He's in our ear saying, expound a little more. What do you mean? He's always making the broadcast better.
Hernandez drives one to right center for a base hit, and the Phillies will grab the lead. Altair is in to score. Ashe goes to third. Cesar Hernandez's RBI single, his second hit of the day, makes it 3-2 Philadelphia.
Not much of a stride from Hernandez, who's had himself a terrific year. And Goodell, a little hard luck, but he got hit hard too.
So Goodell unable to retire a batter. Josh Edgin will come in. Phillies have scored twice in the 7th to lead 3-2. We'll be right back. Starters: Gabriel Ynoa, third major league start, pitched well for 4 2/3. Jared Eichhoff, last start of the year, even better, 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits. Phillies have taken a 3-2 lead here in the 7th. Still nobody out. First and third for Josh Edgin to step into.
Well, Josh here, the more valued left-hander. It's an important outing for him.
Jimmy Paredes is 0 for 3 today. Here's the numbers on Edgin. His return from Tommy John surgery has been a bit of a slog.
Yes, it has. 6 walks and the 10 hits, Gare, the Jeep numbers.
Paredes, a switch hitter, turns around about right-handed. He's hitting just 175 from this side of the plate. Ashe at third, Hernandez at first with nobody out. 2 runs home in the inning. And that's smacked to center field. That'll get a run in at least. Lagares back, and he makes a catch. Boy, did he cover some ground. Ashe tags and scores. And that's a reminder of what Juan Lagares can do with the glove.
Well, he got a bad break on this, Gary. He didn't think it was hit that well. He got a slow start, and he just ran it down. Top of your screen. There he is. He got a late break and runs it down.
He is special. You don't give out the gold for nothing. And you hope for Juan's sake that coming back next year he'll be healthy enough to go out there and play enough to get that gold back. Because when he plays, he shows you why.
Yep.
So that's the first down of the inning. It brings in the 3rd run of the inning, and the Phillies now lead 4-2. And now Odubel Herrera, who's 1 for 3. By the way, we have 2 more people to thank.
Oh.
The big guys.
Yes.
Always thank the big guys. Steve Rabb, the president of the network. Kurt Gowdy Jr., our executive producer. They make it all possible. They sign the checks.
Steve was not around a lot this season. Usually he likes baseball. He comes up to the booth. I only came up maybe 2 or 3 times. Kurt wasn't meddlesome at all this year.
Did he ever make you pay for the camera? So thank you to everybody.
Thank you, guys.
You know, we get all the glory, but you know, it's everybody else who does the real work. That's grounded down to Duda. Goes to second for 1. The return throw for the 3-6-3 double play. So an inning that featured 2 Duda errors features a Duda 3-6-3 double play to end it. 3-run score for the Phillies. They lead 4-2 after 7. Slow motion hair flips on an all-new episode of the SNY.TV digital series The Amazing Life, presented by Coca-Cola. Check it out now on SNY.TV/Coca-Cola. Hair flips, huh? I remember those. Aaron Altair moves from right field to left field. Peter Borges comes in to play right field. He'll bat 9th. And the new pitcher for the Phillies is Michael Marriott.
Well, Marriott is getting a lot of work. A good look here. He's had his issues. Too many walks, too many hits. Left-handers seem to be teeing off on him, but the righties, 114, he gets them out.
Marriott gave up 2 runs in an inning and 2/3 against the Mets in the opening game of this series. Juan Lagares up for the second time. Lagares came in to pinch run in the fourth, stayed in center field, took a call third strike, and is only at bat in the sixth. That's 2 runs, 6 hits. The Phillies 4 runs and 8 hits. Phillies got the benefit of 2 Met errors in that seventh, leading to 1 unearned run. And Lagares takes high, ball 1. Colton Murray is now pitcher of record on the long side, even though he gave up a run in the seventh inning that gave the Mets a temporary 2-1 lead. To Lagares. They have progressed to the bottom of the sixth in San Francisco. Giants 5, Dodgers 1. Giants getting closer to locking down that second wild card and a date with the Mets on Wednesday night. Popped foul and out of play. Meanwhile, in the American League wild card race, we have an extra added development. Not only is Toronto leading Boston 1-0 in the seventh, but Aaron Sanchez is trying to pull a Mike Scott. Remember, Scott famously in 1986 clinched the division for the Astros with a no-hitter
against the Giants.
Sanchez has a no-hitter going through 6 against the Red Sox, trying to clinch a wild card berth.
Mike Scott, I believe, shut out the Giants in the Astrodome that game.
Yep.
Shut out, no hit.
We shut him out too.
You hope.
Well, you don't have to have both. I did a no-hitter with Darryl Kyle beating the Mets, where he gave him a run. Three and 2 to Lagares with Matt Reynolds on deck. And one with a good cut, fouls one back. If you're trying to figure out the postseason roster, Keith, what do you need to see from Lagares in these swings?
Well, I think I've already seen enough of him swinging. He's swinging a vicious bat, so I think he's okay. His hand's okay, or finger, or whatever the heck, and you don't have to worry about his glove and his wheels. If your concern is can he pinch hit? And what I see, he's swinging he's taking healthy cuts.
They're patient at bat, and he draws a walk. So the Mets get the tying run to bat with Matt Reynolds, who's doubled and scored a run in the sixth. Reynolds didn't start the game, came on after Cabrera got 1 at bat. To answer our Verizon trivia question, starting center fielder, first ever night game played at Chase Stadium. The only game he ever played in center field, Ed Kramer.
Oh, yes.
19 years old at the time.
19 years old in the big leagues.
Well, he was 17. He was in the big leagues.
Ed, what were you doing in the big leagues? Come on.
A hat tip to Keith Olbermann, who found that question for us. That's a superb trivia question. Alejandro De Aza waits on deck. You know what I like best about that? Did you see the date of the first night game at Chase Stadium?
Oh,
May the 6th, 1964.
You remember the old Sunday doubleheaders? They were automatic. They were great. 2 for the price of 1.
Until the 1970s, well into the 70s, the Mets would never play a home night game before the 1st of May. Just because there was a recognition that it was too cold to play baseball at night in April in New York. But now the TV rules, it's all our fault.
Yeah, it is. It's all right.
Reynolds lifts one to right, and Borges is there. 1 out. Well, it's a redux of the today's starters graphic. It's always nice when we can show it a second time.
A long time ago, huh?
It's not that long a game, you know. It's not like we're in the 14th inning. Pitching change for the Phillies. Joely Rodriguez will come in with the Phillies up 4-2 in the 8th. Marriott will exit, and we'll be right back to Philadelphia. Rodriguez comes on for the Phils.
Third time we've seen him, and he's got a great arm, but he's a little wild, and he's got to learn to command that stuff.
Just a scoreless inning in yesterday's game. He comes in to face Alejandro De Aza, who hits a double play ball right at Hernandez. Blanco with the turn, 4-6-3 double play. Rodriguez throws one pitch, gets 2 outs, and that'll do it for the Mets in the top of the 8th. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Ryan Howard will be coming up. 4-2 Philadelphia. Is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or buyatoyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. By StubHub, looking for great seats, head to StubHub, the official ticket marketplace of the New York Mets. By New York Lottery, take a break from the expected, play scratch-off games from the New York Lottery. And by GMC, we are professional grade. Go to the bottom of the 8th inning in Philadelphia. The Phillies with a 4-2 lead. This inning should mark the final plate appearance in a Philadelphia Phillies uniform for Ryan Howard, who is due up second against the new Met pitcher Jim Henderson.
There's Jim's numbers on the year. A little difficult since coming back off the DL. Struggled a bit.
Maikel Franco is 3 for 3 today, and he swings at the first one and fouls it back. Mets have used 6 pitchers this afternoon. Gabriel Ynoa started, went 4 2/3. Jerry Blevins, Josh Smoker, Eric Goodell, Josh Edgin, and now Jim Henderson. Mets will stay away from their 3 back-end relievers. Salas, Reed, and Familia will not sniff the mound today. That'll give them 3 full days of rest before the Mets play their do-or-die wild card game on Wednesday night. Looking more and more as though the Giants will be the party of the other part. 5-1 lead as they play in the 7th. Franco pops one behind the plate. Plawecki runs out of room. 1-2. Aaron Sanchez has taken the mound for the bottom of the 7th in Boston. Blue Jays 1, Red Sox nothing. Sanchez is yet to allow a hit.
Cardinals went back ahead 4-2, I see.
Well, unless the Dodgers rally, Cardinals are going to come up short. One-two coming. Rocco fouls it back. He swings hard.
Takes a rip. Had himself a nice season, Michael. 88 RBIs. Didn't get 90. I'm sure he's disappointed in that. That's kind of a nice little plateau on the course of a season to get. 25 home runs, 88 RBIs.
Not bad for a first full season in the majors. That's it sharply, and it goes off the glove of Reynolds, and Franco is aboard again.
Well, that ball ate up Reynolds.
And now Howard.
Now batting for the Phillies, number 6, first baseman Ryan Howard.
First pitch swinging, pops one up. And Reynolds, who just made an error, squeezes the pop up. And so that will do it for Ryan Howard.
Very nice.
It's been a weekend of adulation for one of the greatest sluggers ever to wear a Phillies uniform.
This is really nice. This is a Philly team that's been not very good, a terrible year, and for the folks to come out and show their appreciation for his tenure here as a Philly, it's really wonderful.
Well, he'll finish his Phillies career with 382 career home runs, 48 of them against the Mets. The first one against a man named Bartolome Fortunato. The last one against a man named Bartolo Colon. Bookends. Okay, so remember in the last inning when Lucas Duda made 2 errors on 1 play?
Yes.
All right. So there was a game that the Mets played at Wrigley Field June 9th, 1987. Greg Maddux started for the Cubs. Terry Leach started for the Mets. And in the 4th inning of that game, that's hit in the air to left field, and Conforto has it measured. 2 out. In the 4th inning of that game, there was a pop-up that you dropped for an error and then threw wildly for
first
another
base.
error. The only time in your career you ever
Chicago.
made 2 errors on 1 play. Yeah.
And Wally didn't cover first.
Now, how can we drop the pop-up? Let's
No,
start
it
with
wasn't
that.
a pop-up. It was a bunt pop-up on a bunt.
Oh, okay.
And I'm fairly sure, because I remember going to Wally. I remember making the throw, and it was a strong throw, and I said, I had no time to look. And I said, Wally, where were you? And he goes, vapor locked. Sorry, Keith.
So basically you're saying the only time in your career you were charged with 2 errors on 1 play, it wasn't your fault.
No. It's funny how my memories jogged. I guess I came in. I remember it was down the third base line, and I guess I don't remember it being a pop-up. I thought the scorekeeper wanted to stick it to me for some reason.
Ooh.
Really? I had no idea who he was. No, 2 errors, so what? But they weren't going to keep the gold away from me.
Well, just to complete the tone of the day, Ryan Sandberg got a 2-run single in the bottom of the 8th, and the Cubs won 6-5.
I cost the game.
So it was
I remember we lost
those
that game.
days.
It was, yep. It was an excellent recovery.
87 was a year that was filled with pockmarks as Blanco pulls one to right for a base hit. Franco will go first to third. Blanco trying for two. The throw coming in from De Aza, not in time. So it's a double for Blanco, his third hit of the day. And the Phillies have runners at second and third.
Slider broke straight down, and it was down the middle. A nice way to end your season, Mr. Blanco. Getting a start.
By the way, they've changed the scoring on the play earlier in the inning. The ball hit by Franco that ate up Matt Reynolds. They've changed that to a hit, which gives Franco a 4-hit day. So second and third and two out. Here's Altair, and he goes after the first pitch fastball, 0-1. Coming up tonight at 10:30, it's Geico Sports Night. Lots of football on a football Sunday. The Ryder Cup as well, and of course the final day of the regular season, barring tiebreakers tomorrow, as the wild cards come down to the wire. Geico Sports Night, 10:30 tonight on SNY. In that American League wild card race, the no-hit bid and the lead are gone for Aaron Sanchez. Hanley Ramirez homered in the bottom of the seventh, and that game is now tied. Meanwhile, Baltimore going to the ninth, leading the Yankees 5-2. So if the Orioles win, they're in. And if the Tigers want to be alive for another day, they need to win. That's right back to Henderson, but he muffs it, and a run will score. Well, the Mets playing like a day after clincher. Looked like a routine comebacker, but Henderson did not handle it cleanly. We'll give Altair credit for a gift hit and an RBI.
He was right in position in the field, just didn't make the play.
Put his head down.
Yep.
So now it's 5-2 Philadelphia. Anyway, the Tigers still trailing Atlanta 1-0 in the eighth. That was Julio Teheran, and you know they have a full house today in Atlanta, a rarity because it's the last ever game at Turner Field. Here's Freddie Galvi's pinch hitting, and he pops one up in foul ground. And Duda makes the grab to retire the side, but the Phillies tack on a run, and that sends us off to the ninth with the Mets down 5-2. All right, Doug, here we go to the 9th inning. Hector Neris is going to pitch the 9th, but Ryan Howard took the field for the 9th, and now he's going to come off the field as a Philly for the final time.
Is now playing first base, batting 5th.
Well, on a day of send-offs in Major League Baseball, Philly fans saying goodbye to one of their stalwarts. The last remaining member of the Phillies' 2008 World Championship team, Ryan Howard, playing his last for the Phillies.
Very, very, very nice.
Lucas Duda leads off the 9th against Hector Neris. Lucas has gone 0 for 3 today. Brandon Nimmo is on deck to pinch hit, and then Michael Conforto for the Mets in the 9th. Boston saying goodbye to David Ortiz today, although they'll welcome him back in a few days for the postseason. The baseball world saying goodbye to Vin Scully, broadcasting his final game today in San Francisco. Goodbye to a very young friend in Turner Field. Only got 20 years out of that ballpark. And that ballpark will be done as a major league venue after today. Duda gets jammed and fouled to back. Poke to the left side. Franco makes the toss in time and away. Now Nimmo will be the pinch hitter. The plan is that regardless of which 25 the Mets pick for their roster for the wild card game Wednesday, all the active players are going to be there Wednesday. And then of course they get to put together a brand new roster if they make it past the wild card game for the division series. And what they did last year was once they picked their division series roster, they sent some other players down to Port St. Lucie just to stay in shape in case they were needed in later rounds. So all 39 guys who got to celebrate a wild card yesterday will be there when the Mets take the field at Citi Field. By the way, David Wright will also be there. David was in California yesterday for the clincher, doing his therapy for his back and his neck, but he will be there for the wild card game to support his team on Wednesday night.
As he should be.
By the way, some others playing their last game or participating in their last game today that we should note. Mark Teixeira, his final game with the Yankees today. Dick Enberg broadcasting his final game for the Padres. It's kind of gotten lost in all this celebration of Vin Scully, but another wonderful voice of the game calls his last today. Nimmo goes the other way, and he's got himself a 1-out hit.
Well, Nimmo's been getting his base hits off the bench. He's been performing well pinch hitting. Not an easy task for a young guy.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Michael Conforto, who's gone 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts today. Mets 2 runs and 7 hits. The Phillies 5 runs and 11 hits. Ball 1 to Conforto. The roster planning began earlier today. Sandy Alderson and Terry Collins got together in Terry's office to start the conversations. But until the Mets know for sure who they're going to play, those conversations can't be put into high gear. By the way, the Pirates just tied up the Cardinals 4-4 in the 7th.
That's a final in New York too. Baltimore.
So the Orioles are in. The Orioles beat the Yankees 5-2, so they now await to see whether the Blue Jays will win. That's driven to right field, and Conforto's got a base hit. So the Mets with back-to-back hits in the 9th, and they'll get the tying run to the plate with Eric Campbell coming up. So that means if the Blue Jays win, it's simply Baltimore at Toronto Tuesday for the wild card game. However, if Toronto loses and Detroit wins, then an entirely different scenario gets set in motion with Detroit's makeup game tomorrow. But Toronto's tied 1-1 in the 8th, and Detroit is down 1-0 going to the bottom of the 8th in Atlanta. So the Tigers are 3 outs away from elimination. I think it's great that everybody plays the same day.
I do. It's a great idea.
The final day. There's Campbell. And he takes a splitter low and in for ball 1. Campbell's gone 0 for 3 today. He's robbed of a hit back in the 3rd on a great play by Franco. Since then, he's grounded out and lined out to right. Splitter by Neris, and it's 1-2.
Good one.
Nimmo at second, Conforto at first with 1 out. And that's driven to left. Altair is there to make the catch. And that's the 2nd out. So another hard hit ball off the bat of Campbell. He's had 3 of those today with no results.
Yeah, he's been hitting in hard luck today, is for sure.
So now 2 out and 2 on, and Kevin Plawecki, who drove in a run with a 7th inning double that at the time gave the Mets a 2-1 lead, but the Phillies scored 3 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, and now the Mets are down to their final out. Plawecki has 1 home run in the majors this year, 8 more in AAA. And he takes a splitter for ball 1. Well, Keith and I will see you on the pregame show Wednesday night on SNY. 2 hours of pregame coverage starting at 6 o'clock.
2?
For the wild card game. Yeah, you got to work overtime, Keith. 1-1 to Plawecki. 2 hours before the game, a solid hour after the game. And that'll be the case for every postseason game the Mets play, regardless of what network the game airs on. Tune to SNY for full pre and post game coverage, including Keith. It's always the highlight.
Oh, yeah.
1-2 now to Plawecki.
These fans are into it.
Well, they've been victory starved here in Philadelphia. 1 strike away from closing out their season with a win. Plawecki keeps it going. We've gone to the 8th in San Francisco. Still Giants 5, Dodgers 1. 1-2 to Plawecki. And he pops this one foul. And on we go. Troy Tulowitzki just singled at a run in the top of the 8th for the Blue Jays. They've gone back in front of the Red Sox 2-1 in the 8th at Fenway. Baltimore is in. If Toronto wins, they're in as well. 1-2 coming. And Plawecki tried to hold, and he stopped it in time. 2-2. Cardinals just winning back in front of the Pirates 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th. 2-2 coming. And Plawecki grounds one to third. Nice. Franco handles the hop, and the ball game is over. And thus the regular season comes to an end. The Phillies, who had lost 6 straight, get their 71st win of the year. They close out Ryan Howard's career with a 5-2 victory. And the Mets, in a game that came the day after their clincher, finish off their regular season at 87-75 and get set for a wild card showdown with either the Giants or the Cardinals on Wednesday night at Citi Field.
Well, it has been one fantastic season for the Mets. A grind in the middle, but boy, what a ride the last 6 weeks of this season. This club caught fire, and they've got the home field advantage. I am looking so much forward to whoever comes to town. It looks like right now, as Gary said, if the Giants can hang on to the top of the 8th there, 5-1 Giant lead, boy, it's going to be quite a matchup.
Game summary presented by your Tri-State GMC dealers. Gabriel Noah started the game. Noah Syndergaard threw a bullpen session to get ready for his start on Wednesday night, as the Mets, in a meaningless game for them, close out their season 12 games over 500 as they fall to the Phillies 5-2. This has been a remarkable 2016 season, our final broadcast of the year, and we've seen every twist and turn, from all the success the Mets had in April, to the injuries that began to mount with the pitchers and David Wright and Lucas Duda, to the unexpected call-ups turning the season around in August, and the great finish that the Mets had, going 27-13 over their final 40 games and winning a wild card that seemed so unlikely a month and a half ago.
Well, you know, it's when you're a player, and it's, you know, you got to keep the ship going on. You can't go up and down. You can't have ups and downs emotionally, and when things look so dire in the middle of the season, you know, it's just one day at a time. We'll get our guys back, and boy, when they came back, Cabrera came back and got caught fired. He was rejuvenated. Cespedes came back. He was injured for a bit. All the elements that were missing that came back in that August really pushed this team towards the end. It's been fun, a whole lot of fun for me up here, speaking for myself, to watch this team. I'm really proud of these guys down here because they didn't quit.
So last year we saw a Mets team that really changed its personality over the last 2 months of the season, make it all the way to the World Series. This year they've had to scrap and struggle a little bit more just to get to this point and get in. What do you see as the upside for this team as they try and play through October?
Well, the upside is looking down the road further, you've discovered some new young talent. It's hard to evaluate these pitchers in Las Vegas in the high altitude, in the Pacific Coast League. Who's this guy Lugo? Who's Gazelman? He didn't pitch well. He didn't have a good season there. They come here and they were key components. So looking forward, you know, the Mets have what I feel now a lot of depth. As far as the playoffs are concerned, hey, it's a gunfight in the street. You know, it's one and done. You're going to have two great pitchers out there, and we'll see who blinks first.
Well, my friend, this is always a lot of fun with Ron and with Steve and the rest of our crew. And You and I will be sitting in the studio or sitting on the set and doing the pre and post game during postseason, but these games are what make us, and after 11 seasons of doing this, it just keeps getting more fun.
It does. We're not getting any younger. The season takes its toll on us. The travel is tough, but we're just up here sitting. Hey, I'm still in the game. I'm still involved in the game. I got great people I work with. It's just, I feel blessed that my career, my baseball life didn't end with my playing on the field. It's got a second life up here. Got to know guys like you, Al over here, Kerry, Greg in the truck. It's just all great.
Hey, you keep getting younger all the time. So as we head out at the end of another regular season, for Keith and for Ron and for Steve and for our entire crew, I'm Gary, and it's been great, and we'll see you on the pre and post game shows in the postseason. But as we roll out, let's show you some of the names of the folks that make these broadcasts possible and who do such great work all around us. See you soon.
Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the NETS Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets. Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the Mets. All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York town. Give them a yell, give them a hand, and let them know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the NETS Mets of New York town, of New